Hey everybody, it's Joe from Papa Jobo's. Today I'm going to be reading you a little bit of an article from David Oyelowo, a guy who I don't really know much about. I know he's an actor, but this article is a perfect example of cultural Marxism having brainwashed somebody to a point where they are delusional. Let's just start it off. I've never heard or used the word processing more than I have in the days since these last Oscars. Having been in the room where it happened, I've been beset by questions from journalists, friends, family members, and people I haven't heard from in a long time. My answer has remained the same, as I've also heard from others. I'm still processing what just happened. Some of you might be thinking he's speaking about the war on the Ukraine, perhaps some atrocities that have happened in wars, maybe even I don't know, a car accident. What he's talking about is Will Smith witch slapping Chris Rock. That is the level of hyperbolic insanity these people are going to describe that situation. Look, I'm blown away that that slap has gotten more coverage than an actual war that could potentially lead to World War III. A slap. It was funny. It had its time. Let's let it go. But we're not going to, are we? Because it keeps getting views and clicks. Anyway, David's rant here is something that is indicative of the victim class that Antonio Gramsci described in detail in his communist manifestos. He goes on to say, the moment I slowly realized the nature of what had just occurred on stage at the Dolby Theater, I was confronted by the same rising anxiety all black people feel when the face that flashes up on the news after a crime is reported is a black one. You find yourself thinking, what does this mean for us? What does that mean for me? First of all, verifiably false. Not all black people think that. That's a ridiculous statement. You can't speak for every person in the world. Those are called blanket statements. It's something that psychologists could probably help this guy learn about. He goes on, very soon after the now infamous Oscar ceremony, I walked into an Oscar after party and was immediately confronted by that which I feared. An older white gentleman sidled up to me with relish in his demeanor and said, he should have been dragged right out of there. You may well agree with that sentiment. Yeah, most people do. But it's not what he said. It's the way he said it. I know that relish. I know that demeanor. And it is ugly to its core and all of its coded messaging. Look, I'm laughing a little bit at this, but honestly, that is absolute cultural Marxist delusion. He is ascribing a victimhood mentality to a situation that he wasn't even involved in. He just watched some guy slap another dude, and it was kind of funny. But he fears most a white guy saying he should have been dragged out of there. That's your biggest fear in life? That's your biggest fear in life. I kind of want your fears, buddy. It's the way he said it. How did he say it? I wish I had a video of it, then I could actually make a better judgment on it. But it's this last line that gets me. I know that demeanor, and it's ugly to its core in all of its coded messaging. Look, dude, there are not people meeting around the world trying to think of ways to subvert other people of other races for no reason, just willy-nilly. Yeah, there's a few people out there that are bad, but I would highly doubt that that man who said that to you had any sort of intention of weaponizing this or giving you a coded message. He was probably just looking to strike up a conversation with you, man. And then he goes on to say, in the wake of George Floyd's murder, the entertainment industry made a lot of pledges to increase the diversity of our business. Hold the break. Wait, what? What does George Floyd have to do with Hollywood and diversity? What are you talking about here? This is delusional nonsense. Some intentional, some ceremonial. My fear is that this unfortunate incident, which has us all processing, no, it doesn't. Most people have moved on and are fine with it because it was just a guy slapping another dude. That's it. Should Will Smith have been arrested? Sure. Yep. Get arrested. Go pay your misdemeanor fine. Move on with life. My fear is that this unfortunate incident, which has us all processing, will have a negative effect on the ongoing push for inclusion. There are those who, in a bid to make sure something of this nature never happens again, will operate through an unconscious or conscious bias. Dude, this guy he sounds like a paranoid nut. A bias that still governs so much of the decision-making in Hollywood. It would be tragic if a bid to prevent such an incident from happening again becomes an excuse for ideas about inclusion and diversity to backslide. But look, I don't know a lot about the inclusion and diversity tactics that Hollywood used to use. I'm sure there were some bad things going on at times, but in my lifetime, I've never seen any of that. I've seen inclusion everywhere from every race. Just most of the time, you were hired based on your talent level. That's what you should be hired based on. The unfair nature of what happened to Chris Rock and those whose achievements were completely overshadowed that night cannot be overstated. Will himself has rightfully said his actions were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. Yeah, he probably should have been arrested, like I said. But in all of our processing of what happened, there's that word again, no one's processing this, bud. No one. Maybe except Chris Rock and Will Smith. That's who it happened between. Let's not forget that there's a disposition exemplified by the man who approached me at the after party. His gossipy lean and the half smile on his face are indicative of what must not be allowed to creep into the aftermath of this incident. Dude, he watched another man slap another man and he thought it was kind of funny. And then he logically went, well, he probably should have been taken out of the Oscars. How does that have anything to do with race, inclusion, diversity? There's another part in here that he talks about weaponizing, which is just nuts. Dude, you don't make things more inclusive by dividing people by race. That's not how you do it. And that's what he's doing in this article. He's pointing out an entire group of people based on your color and making them into a victim class. It is exactly what Gramsci talked about in the way that he was going to help subvert society. And he's doing it. This guy right here, David Oyelowo, he is what we would call a useful idiot. And that is a term that I have said repeatedly isn't my term. It's a communist propagandist term. That's all it is. And it gets us to the point of where we need to be. People who are being used because of their race, religion, identity, sexuality, creed, color, whatever you want to say, use them, make them into the victim class. And then they're going to write articles like this, which are paranoid, delusional, self-centered, self-serving, and divisive as all get out. You don't fight for inclusion and diversity by excluding other people. You don't. At its core is what you don't do. If there's one, he goes on to say, if there's one thing I've learned about Hollywood, it's that it harbors some very good people with good intentions and a number of broken people with bad intentions. There's the first good thing he said in here. Good. Let's go on to see what else he has to say. I'm calling on the good people with good intentions to stay focused on building on the great gains we've recently made. Okay. That started out pretty good, that sentence. Near the end, you're starting to see that he's going back into a victimhood narrative. They mustn't be eroded by those with bad intentions who would seek with relish to weaponize this incident to derail those gains and divide us. I laugh because who in the hell is weaponizing this? Point one out to me, and then maybe I could talk to you about it. This reads like an absolute useful idiot who doesn't understand that he is one. He doesn't understand that what he's talking about is pure division and feeds right into cultural Marxism. It's virtual signaling, it's identity politics, and it is some of the most dangerous stuff that we face today, some of the scariest stuff that we face today. But yeah, the slap that won't go away and the people who won't let it go away. I am shocked that he went to this level of insanity to describe a very simplistic incident with none of those overtones that he's talking about. I don't know. What do you guys think about the article? I think it's insane, but let me know in the comments below. If you didn't like what I had to say, please let me know. I mean, I'll probably respond to you and we can talk about it. I hope we can talk about it. Let's not just start name calling. I don't really like that. Let's talk to each other and try to come to some sort of resolution. If you like what you saw, please like, share, subscribe, help me grow this thing. I'm Joe from Papa Jobo's. Peace.